One of the last reviews I did in the before times was Horizon Chase Turbo, an indie-developed arcade racing game that harkens back to the golden days of arcade racers. Now, here we are, over a year later, and my first review is Inertial Drift, an indie-developed arcade racing game that harkens back to the golden days of arcade racers. Well, it's good to know things are getting back to normal. I'm just going to come out and say it right at the start here. This one isn't for me, even though it absolutely should be. I mean, it's me, Mr. fucking Ridge Racer, Initial D, drive round corners at 100 miles an hour with the back end sliding out. It's a shame because there's so much Inertial Drift does right on paper. One of the things I'm always going on about is how much games all seem to play and feel the same nowadays. So how about steering with 2 sticks then? That's different. The main gimmick with Inertial Drift is its twin stick handling. One stick steers normally and the other stick controls the back end during those wild drifts you have to do to get round the corners. It's a weird system and it takes a while to click. For some, it might never click. Sadly, this is me. No matter how many hours I put into the game or how many different cars I tried out, I just couldn't get to grips with it. Inverting the drift stick so that it works the opposite way from the steering stick helped a wee bit, but I'm one of those guys that inverts the camera and everything, so I think my mind is just tied in knots or something. I feel like it's the reverse of the Star Fox Zero situation, where the world and their dog couldn't handle the dual screen gyro aiming gameplay, but I took to it like a Killie fan does to their team getting relegated. I.e., it was just about as natural as to be expected. Inertial Drift has been making its way onto best racing game lists all over the shop, and all power to the team that made it. They've clearly done something right. It just feels so weird to play that I can't enjoy it. But the main problem with Inertial Drift isn't just the handling, it's also this. See, what I've just done there is I've changed to our fisheye lens, which makes the whole world look quite wide. You can see loads of stuff around you, but anything that's close to the camera is hugely distorted like that. And as you can imagine, driving a car like that isn't ideal. Look at how distorted all these corners are. The camera angle is so wide that every corner looks like a miles long Outrun 2 style curve, when it could be anything from a cheeky 90-degree corner to a full-on tail-out hairpin. You never know until it's 2 inches away from your front end. I know why they did it. Somewhere in a big encyclopedia of camera lenses, there's a chapter titled "Wide Angles Make Things Look Faster," but it doesn't always make for a great racing game. Ridge Racer and Initial D and all that actually keep their camera quite long, but they don't feel slow at all. And actually, it helps make the sideways movement of the drifting feel really fast. It's not just that. There are a few signs of good intentions but poor execution everywhere. It's nice that there's a story mode, but all these characters only have one drawing each, just animated with a puppet tool to convey movement. If they'd just drawn 2 or 3 different poses or emotions for them, then they wouldn't have to hide it with this surreal wave-like movement. The visuals are nice at first, channeling Auto Modelista's cell shading, but after 2 or 3 levels you realise how lifeless the world is, and how one-note the colour scheme is. I mean, I like pink and blue plenty, it's in the BitSoccer logo after all, but it gets boring after a while. But here's the bottom line. This is a game made with pure, unbridled passion for racing games by a small team, and you can get a physical copy of it for Switch or PS4 for less than a tenner. I'll take that with a big beamer in my face over yet another soulless Need for Speed. For less than a tenner, here's a brand new arcade racer that, for me, falls flat, but for many others it seems to have ticked all the right boxes. And even though it isn't for me, I can't wait to see what this team makes next.